Hi guys. Right, so today I'm doing one of my let's interview someone who's really cool. And well, first of all, can you in the chat can you tell me if the volumes are working okay? Because that's kind of important, just in case I've made a mess up. I look like I've got a good signal. So if you can put it in there, although I can see from the stream it's actually I'll just wait for the response, I think. So just let me know if there's no sound, and then we'll be good to go. But so today I've got Jan from. Let's look at that camera, shall I? Got Jan, who is the developer and in charge of AmiKit, which I'm sure most of you have heard of. I like to do these streams because at the end of the day, it's nice. I get an excuse to talk to people who are really interesting. And as some of you are aware, one of the things with the case is the Raspberry Pi. And you may know I've been working on this thing called AmiHybrid. Let's just see, yeah, get closer to my, yeah, okay. I'll just turn it up just a little bit. Right, okay. Right, so I'm doing the Raspberry Pi and I've got this Amiga Hybrid. As some of you know, the Amiga Hybrid is basically, I'll supply the operating system and I also include AmiKit. I did a license. Jan was really good and we managed to do a license, so I can include AmiKit with every single one of these systems. Why AmiKit? Well, I like AmiKit. I mean, I love the look of it. I think it's a wonderful design. We are getting some nice distributions now, but I kind of think that AmiKit's the most. I don't mean something to anyone else because I think they're all great, but the AmiKit has always been the most professional right from the beginning. To what it offered and the way it looked and the functionality, the updating, so much about it was absolutely wonderful. So that's the reason why. Now, so I thought it'd just be interesting. We can have a chat with Jan. Now, it's very important to understand this is a chat. We are going to have a chat. Hopefully, you lot. Oh my God, loads of questions. Hopefully, you lot are going to pop some questions in there, and every now and then I'll have a look down and see. But it's important that you put the word question at the front because I'm scanning down for the word question because obviously I'm trying to run everything at once. Right, so without further ado, and you know me, I waffle, I'm just going to jump over to Jan. And if you can all check, make sure his sound comes out, I'm sure it'll be fine. But let's go and say hello to Jan. 1 second. Jan, hi, how are you doing?
Hey, hello everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
Thanks.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's wonderful. I as I said, I used the Kickstarter last time. I just invite people I think are really cool, and it's nice to just get them on and have a chat and talk about things. I mean, the advert for the case was at the beginning. We can forget about that now. So it's really about people actually asking questions of people in the community and getting the answers. So I'm just going to have a quick glance.
Can I say something?
Yes,
first?
fire away. Yeah.
Thank you for your kind words. You know what you just said about AmiKit. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad you like it. Actually,
it's all true. I've loved it for a long time because I've run it on WinUAE like everyone else, and it's just so professional, and you can see it's been done by a designer.
Yeah.
But obviously someone with some. Now, I don't want to be rude to designers. I'm not going to be rude to them, but I'm surprised because you have a lot of technical skills. Because of what you've done with it, it's a lot of technical skills and design skills. So, fascinated by all that. You don't necessarily always see that, which is fascinating.
And funny thing is that actually I'm a psychologist. You know, because I studied psychology. So now I'm not the IT guy. Actually.
Oh, okay.
So. But this is what I love. This is my hobby and my passion. And simply, I want to look it nice. I want to behave nice for people. I want to that they have a smooth experience, and I'm devoted to it. That's it. And of course, if this is something I like, I want it to look nice as well.
Yeah, it really does look beautiful. And just for people, how did you get into that job? I'm a trained bricklayer.
What is it?
I was a bricklayer, builder.
Wow.
But before I went into that, because it's a great story, is that I went to school and I loved computers. We had the first computer in the country,
Okay.
Access. But then I wanted to buy a motorbike to impress girls. It's in David's book. But then I wanted to impress the girls, so I got a job as a bricklayer. So I did that for a number of years and became a bricklayer and roofer. And that's how and then I got into this because my knees were bad. So that's how I did this.
Is it that kind of job where you want to impress girls? Like it works?
No, no, it wasn't the job. Well, actually, no, because if anyone ever asks me what I do for a living, this is where everyone's going to hate me. When everyone says to me, "What do you do for?" If no, I'm married now, so I don't do this anymore, obviously. But anything used to be, I'd never tell them I write software. I'd never tell them that. I'd say, "No, I'm a roofer." And oh, really? How do you get on with heights? And I say, "I'm scared of heights," and then you get a great conversation. So it's
nice icebreaker, actually.
it's a lot more interesting to say, "Oh, I work on computers," and then they go, "Ah, right, bye." So yeah, no. But the motorbikes didn't help either. I bought a motorbike, and the girls weren't impressed with that either. Where's your car? Anyway, right. So it's not about me; it's about you. So okay. So come on, yeah. I'm curious about outside of Amiga, a little bit about your life. I mean, just what kind of life you have. Yeah, I'll let you tell everyone where you live, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. You need to ask questions, because
I'm going to ask questions. Don't worry, just a brief.
Very brief, and I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are like that.
So, like I said, I'm a psychologist, and my life outside of Amiga is that my job is I'm a consultant in a business area.
Okay.
And actually in a human resources area, which means like if there is a company which needs some new employers, or if they want to develop their existing employers, they hire me and I do these things.
Oh, okay, right.
And I worked like this for 15 years actually, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to be employee anymore. So I set up my own company. So now I'm a CEO of my own company, doing the same stuff actually. So yeah, I'm this is my day job. The problem is Corona, the COVID situation, because usually my job looks like there is a workshop for 12, 15 people. And I teach communication skills, leadership skills, and this kind of stuff. But now it's really difficult to get 15 people together in one room, So I don't have much work this time. No. On the other hand, I can work on AmiKit more thanks to this, and I like both jobs. So this AmiKit is something that fills my time mostly now, and I worked. Actually, I'm from Slovakia. If you remember Czechoslovakia, you probably do.
Yeah.
And then I studied psychology in Czech Republic. So I moved to Czech Republic, and I worked there. And last 3 years, I think it's 3 years already, I moved to Serbia.
Okay.
So now actually I'm outside of European Union, and as I told you before, in a week or two we'll be on the same boat.
Shut up.
Yeah. So if you want to be prepared, I can tell you some pitfalls about living outside of European Union.
Oh, sometimes I despair of my country. There you go.
Basically, you just there are two main pitfalls, and it's like when you want to travel, you have to cross the border, and you wait on the border. So sometimes it's 4 hours when I got stuck on the highway when I wanted to go back to Slovakia to visit my parents. So this is one, and another thing is the flow of goods. If you want to order something. Then it gets stuck on what's this name on customs.
Okay, look, I got Brexit
Okay, sorry,
in a
sorry.
week's time. I got Brexit, and I'm just.
You will find out. You will find out.
Thank you. Right, let's do something interesting. Right, so I'm really fascinated how you got into the Amiga. Well, first of all, I'm going to answer a question. Someone, a couple of people said about, and did you get the girls, Steve? Right, actually, it turned out because I love dancing as well, and I went to a dance class, and that's how I met my wife dancing. As anyone knows, because I do the dance on the channel.
I saw you dancing when your first Kickstarter project was finished. I saw you dancing with
That
your
wasn't my
wife.
wife. That was someone. I borrowed someone else's wife for that one. There was a few going spare downstairs, so I just grabbed one. But my wife was quite heavily pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah, so she couldn't.
So now when your next Kickstarter is successful, you're gonna dance with your wife, right?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think we're only about 3,000-4,000 away, so it's not far off of being a success. Right. Anyway, so what I'm interested is how you got into. Have you always liked Amigas? How did that happen? I'm curious about that. So how did you get into computers? And what was your first one? Everyone likes to know. What's your first computer? First Amiga?
My first computer ever was ZX Spectrum clone. It was not a ZX Spectrum, because at the time it was they were not available on Eastern market.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what Slovakia or Czechoslovakia did, they created the clone of ZX Spectrum, which had 80 kilobytes of RAM, which was almost twice as regular ZX Spectrum.
Wow. Okay.
So which created some incompatibilities, of course.
Yeah, sure.
As well.
Yeah, I bet.
And then the second computer was Amiga 500, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember when you bought that? What year?
I think it was in 93.
Okay.
92, 93, something
So
like that.
you kind of come into the end of the era, basically, just not long before they went down the toilet.
Yeah,
it was 94, 95, wasn't it?
Because of communist regime in Czechoslovakia, everything was delayed here. The regime fall in 89, and then suddenly all the stuff from West, we started to discover these things. So Amiga in 92, 93 was a fresh new wave in Slovakia, actually, So that was funny. I just started with Amiga, and then suddenly a few years after, it went down. I was like, that's too soon. No, I just discovered it. And
but you just found this.
What happened?
Yeah,
I remember the first time I saw Amiga 500. It was in some shop, and they were running. Eric. What's his name? Eric. Someone he was creating nice
Eric Schwartz.
Cartoon videos.
Eric Schwartz.
Yes.
Yeah, the furry ones.
And they had this Amiga 500 in one of the video in loop in this shop during overnight.
Yeah.
So I was walking by. I was like, wow, what's this? Is this the whole computer? This keyboard? I was like, wow, yes, I want it. So I convinced my parents actually, and they bought us to me and my brother Amiga 500. 93.
So how many fights did you used to have over who can use it?
Sorry?
How many fights did you have over who can use it?
No, there were no fights. I was older, of course.
Oh, so you just used it?
I was older. I got the priority ticket.
Right, if anyone wonders what's just happened to my video feed, every half hour my video feed may pop off. That's just my silly camera. It just resets it, so I have to reset it. Right, so, okay.
One question. I'm drinking beer. I just want to confirm if it's okay. You also... Okay.
This is an English brand called Hobgoblin. You're drinking you're drinking the original Budweiser. Ooh.
Of course.
Proper,
original.
not that silly American one.
What else?
That stupid American. The original one is actually better than the American one. So yeah, that's good. So and I normally drink ales, but I've kind of run out. So all I've got is I've got these pale ale. This is a gold. Yeah, cheers to you as well. Right. So okay. So let's get on to the AmiKit then, because I don't know when you started working on that, but what was the inspiration for starting? Apart from the fact you wanted to make the Amiga look good, how did that actually start? I mean, I'm curious about the start of that story. As I'm sure most people are.
Actually, I was thinking about this today, and I remember it started because of AmiNet.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and now imagine my situation. I was when I got Amiga 1200 and a hard drive, and I still didn't have an internet because it was really expensive to have your own internet at the time. It was 90s.
Yeah.
So I remember I was visiting public libraries, and because there was a free internet, of course, so I was downloading some software from AmiNet, and then I came home super happy with 5 floppy disks of some programs, and then I ran the programs and I installed them on my hard drive, and then I wanted to make a backup actually of this program, so I created archive of my not the whole system, only of the particular program. I created archive, and this program was actually already configured by me, and actually I was creating a mirror of AmiNet on my hard drive.
Wow.
So it was like an offline, because I had no internet, you know. So I had to mirror it on my hard drive, but I didn't want to have these original archives. I wanted to include my configuration there.
Yeah.
So this is how it started, and but I had no idea that something started actually at that time. You know, I just did this, and yeah, and that's it. That's it. Then a few years later, when I used my system on WinUAE, I discovered that this WinUAE is working on some strange hard file, which I was quite amazed at the time that you can shrink, or you can put all your files, all your hard drives to a single file.
Yeah.
I was amazed, like, wow, this is so cool. And then I discovered that backupping my hard drive to this hard file is very easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And restoring actually is very easy to do. So this is how AmiKit started, because I started to back up my system, and before I installed any new program, I back up the system. And when the installation went fine, I installed a new program and it worked, and I configured it. Okay, now it's time to back it up again.
Yeah.
You know, and this is how I was building AmiKit. Program by program, but I still didn't know that it's AmiKit.
Yeah.
That was fine. And at some point, I realized that this system which I built is quite efficient. So I was like, maybe some other people could appreciate it, and that's it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, AmiNet is obviously fantastic, but did you have a CD-ROM drive as well? Because
yeah, I had one.
Yeah, because they had AmiNet on CD-ROM, which is brilliant actually putting that on there. But I remember the original.
I remember now. Yeah, I had the CDs of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the original fish discs when they were coming out in about the late. Well, it started in mid '80s, 85, 86, something like that, and I started getting about '87. And we used to get excited. Every week there'd be a new fish disc come out and they want to be distributing it. And that was really exciting. So for us, we didn't have the internet either.
With all the fish discs. I know that they exist.
Yeah.
But I missed it. Yeah, it was...
people are looking at me will notice now that I've actually decided... Because I've got... when I'm talking, I was kind of looking the wrong direction. Although I was looking at one camera. I've now reversed it to look at the other picture. So it looks like I'm actually looking at you. Must look really weird. Why is he looking over there? Because the way I've laid this screen out. Look, okay, so but when did you think then that AmiKit could be a commercial, let's say a mild commercial venture?
Sorry.
When did you think it would be? I could actually do this, because obviously people were enjoying the AmiKit from you. I mean, actually turning it into a small business. You know, when did that actually come about, and what made you think about doing that? Was because for me it's always been, I like making stuff, and it pays for me to buy other stuff so I can make other stuff, and that's just how it works for me. So I use it for that way.
Yeah. It was in 2017 when the first AmiKit X
Okay.
was released. So actually, the very first AmiKit was released in November 2005.
Okay.
And I was updating it like all the time till 2017. And in 2017, so 12 years actually after the first release,
Yeah.
I created this commercial version.
Okay.
So all the previous versions were free, or I accepted donations.
Yeah.
But basically, you could download it for free and use it, and you can still download it.
Yeah.
And use it. And if you like that, you can switch to paid AmiKit X.
Yeah.
Or XE now, the latest version.
Yeah. So, okay, that's some of good. What's some of the let's say the downside with doing all this? What kind of negatives have you had? I mean, because I know we all get. I'll give you my side. And I've always said, and I'm a developer, but everyone knows I'm more of a hardware guy. I love hardware, but the one thing I've always found is this, and I always bang on about it, is that developers, I've got one on here online at the moment, Dimitri, who I'm coming to, okay? But you've got developers out there doing a ton of fantastic work, and I did a lot of support with AROS. And these developers on 68K, all developers who do things for free. The biggest downside for most of them was that people didn't even bother to, I'm not saying all, but people, all you have to do is if you get something you like it, send a message, say, I really love it, it's fantastic. And it encourages them. Maybe a little donation, you don't have to do a donation necessarily, but it does help. But it's just that thank you. But what the AROS developers were always getting was, they were always just getting bug reports, or they were just getting, this don't work, or that's rubbish, or this, that. And as if it's their birthright to get this software. And that to me has always bugged me, that people should, before you say, can I have, you should actually say, thanks for the great product I'm using, but it would be great if I could have. You know, that's all I ask. And send them some money, that always helps. Did you get that?
I don't know if I get everything what you said actually.
Okay, so do you get people just asking you for stuff rather than saying thank you?
They ask for support, and even they don't say anything positive about it. I don't care, because I feel obliged to support them, and even if it's free or paid version, I don't care, because for me the reward is that it works at the end for them.
Yeah.
And then they say thank you, you know.
Yeah.
So that's it's like vice versa. I am supportive at the first place.
Yeah. I always say to people, just send them a message, because it goes a long way. I mean, with these cases, selling the cases and I like designing things, and I always have done. But my biggest pleasure is the messages I get and the pictures of people sending pictures of their builds. What they've done with it, and the love and the passion they put into it. I mean, I get so much pleasure. It does make it all worthwhile. So, but yeah, I just like people to. I'm not saying come tell me how great I am. I don't mean that, but I had lots of developers, and we're going to come on to Dimitri in a minute. In fact, I'm going to mention Dimitri now, because we're going to basically move into AmiKit, this project now. So, right. So as some of you are aware, I've got this. I've been trying to work on this concept. It's called AmiHybrid, and I'd like to call it Amiga Hybrid, but I'm waiting for Mike to let me use it. There's some legal things got to be sorted out, so hopefully one day I'll call it Amiga Hybrid. But for now, it's AmiHybrid, and the idea is it's basically an extension of something I did 20 odd years ago called Siamese System, and where the Amiga and Windows coexist. And AmiHybrid is pretty much the same thing. So I spoke to Dimitri forgive me if I get your surname wrong, Dimitri. It's Dimitri Panakostas. Hope I got that right. Because he's the author of AmiBerry. And I asked him if I have a few ideas we could do such and certain things to hide Linux, make it there when I want it, and do certain little tweaks. And I said, I'll give you a case. Set the case off, and he turned this amazing product out. Now, what we ended up with, if you've seen Neil's video on the RMC, the cave, it shows you how it all works. But that was the existing AmiKit XE I'd moved across. Now, what Jan has been working on recently is a Raspberry Pi version that works and integrates wonderfully with Manjaro. So now that's it's a 64-bit operating system. It's absolutely. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to switch screens so we can talk. We're not going to go into great. This is not a demonstration. This is just to show you what it's capable of. But this is to. Oh, I've got to switch over first. My cameras. Let's put that on there. This is probably. Yep, it's sitting there. This has been sitting on all day. I've also changed. You'll notice I'm going on this little tiny camera now. So what we've got here is AmiKit XE. I'm just going to switch myself to full screen so I can see it a bit better. Studio mode. No, that's. Oh, hang on. Sorry, hang on. I haven't switched that over, have I? Bear with me. Sorry about this, guys. Hang on. Right, you should be able to see that. Should be live now. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, I hadn't switched the screen. I've done it on my screen, not your screen. So you should be seeing the AmiKit screen and the two little cameras in the right-hand side. That's with the two of us. And I'm just going to go into full screen mode now. So what this is it's AmiKit XE, and Jan, you can correct me when I go wrong. This is AmiKit XE, but it's been custom built so that it runs well on the Pi. It's designed for, I think, mostly for the Pi4 because that's where you get the best benefit. To be fair. But it's the integration. Do you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I would like to thanks to my wife who bought me Raspberry Pi 4.
Oh, good girl.
So without our wives in our lives, without their support, this wouldn't happen actually. So I'm really grateful. So she bought me Raspberry Pi 4, and since then I'm trying to create this AmiKit for it, or port AmiKit for it, thanks to AmiBerry, which we already mentioned by Dimitris.
Yeah.
Because he really did a great job. There. AmiBerry is getting better with all the versions he's releasing and fixing bugs. And recently I told him that he needs some sleep, because I don't want him to be exhausted.
Yeah.
He's really doing a good job there. So now AmiKit XE on Raspberry Pi, there are several features. First of all, it will be full HD based. Full HD is recommended for Raspberry Pi 4 or 400, and it looks beautiful on this full HD resolution. So this is one thing, and another thing is that it can you can switch to boot mode, and the boot mode is that's what everyone is expecting.
Yes.
Which means that you can simply turn on your Raspberry Pi 4 or 400, and it boots into AmiKit right away.
Yep.
So you don't see, of course, there is a Linux behind, 64-bit Linux, but you don't see the Linux, and it boots to AmiKit just like it was Amiga.
And it does it seamlessly. My version, you could see Linux booting, you see all the Linux commands, you see everything come up, and I hadn't hidden it.
I was able to hide it.
Yeah, which is fantastic. That's what I'm saying. This is an absolute game changer compared to mine. Whereas it literally is, if you switch it into boot mode straight into AmiKit, you don't see anything. You know, all you see is that colour panel at the front where when the Pi boots, then it goes black, and then the Amiga appears, and it really is fantastic. And if you shut it down, it shuts the machine down, which is what I like. The boot mode allows you to, if you want to boot to Linux first and then start AmiKit, but I prefer to just boot straight into AmiKit and be done with it, because you've got this. Up here, you can see in that what I've opened up here, you've got the rabbit hole, which is using the host run application. Yeah. Yes.
Rabbit hole is amazing stuff, and also it is possible thanks to Dimitris. Actually, AmiKit can communicate with the Linux behind very easily.
Yes.
And you can launch stuff. You can launch Linux stuff on AmiKit desktop.
Yep.
You can, for example, you can reboot a whole Raspberry Pi machine or shut it down from AmiKit.
Yep.
Because in AmiKit you just tell Linux, hey, reboot, or hey, shut down, and that's it. And Linux obeys.
Yeah.
That's the best.
So if you do reboot or shut down, it will shut the whole machine down. That'd be gone, which is wonderful. So it is. Literally, it's a smoother, cleaner version, but even to the point where, whilst I never with the other one was I literally hid Linux and I never allowed it to be seen. You do have the function with this to minimise the AmiKit and see Manjaro, but even then the Manjaro is being kind of tailored to look like you're still on AmiKit, like the backdrop's the same, that kind of thing. So you fold into it, and then you can just click on it, and it comes back up again. I quite like that one.
If you press F11 now, you should get directly to Manjaro.
There you go.
To Linux behind.
Yep. And then all you do is go back down here, click on that, come back up again.
Yeah, and then just you click on the Manjaro taskbar, and you get back to back.
Yeah, I mean it is a wonderful. It's a wonderful implementation, because what I did, it looked good because it was AmiKit, okay? But the fact was that this is much smoother than the version. I thought I was actually quite proud of mine. The only thing was with all the text coming up the screen, the Linux stuff. But you've hidden all of that, and now it just boots straight into AmiKit. And also, am I correct in saying, because obviously we're going to supply them on these, if people buy the adverts, sorry. If people buy this kit, which is the Pi ITX adapter kit, if you buy that, put it in, you'll get an SD card in here, and it'll be ready to go, boot straight to here. So that's how that's going to work. But I think you've got setup disks and stuff like that. You know, you'll be able to set it up and just give it access to your Amiga Forever files. Am I correct?
Me? Or, sorry,
yeah, no. I can't remember if you was going to do this on with normal AmiKit. You put the disk in, you boot AmiKit or the file, you run the AmiKit executable, and then it says to you, where are your Amiga files? Are you doing a similar thing, or is this just going to be a distribution?
Exactly. And in this Raspberry Pi version, I made it really easy. So when you install AmiKit on Raspberry Pi for the first time, all you need is Amiga Forever image, or another image of another Amiga OS version, and you just copy this one file to AmiKit, run it, run the AmiKit, and AmiKit will take care of the rest. That's it. So and since then, when AmiKit is installed with this Amiga OS system, it boots right away. Yeah,
I do want to mention something now. I'm obviously going to say that, you know, many years ago I did the Siamese system, okay, an early stage of this. the Siamese system. So I don't
Ah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to pay a mention for Trevor, because you and Trevor did the Alice project.
Mhm.
And it had all these concepts in that, and this was a while back. And I always said to Trevor, to be fair, release the damn thing so we can get it on Linux and use it. Unfortunately, it didn't come out. But between the two of you, Trevor did a fantastic. Because Trevor's getting a little bit of grief at the moment, or shall I say that the one of the newer cards is having a bit of grief, and I think it's very unfair. Okay, because they've been having some headaches on it, so I think you should please give them a bit of a rest. But Trevor's done some fantastic things, and one of the things he did do was support Jan with the Alice project, which I think was fantastic. I don't think it ever really appeared as a product, but it was the seed for Rabbit Hole.
Alice project was amazing because we wanted to achieve something similar, and it was actually a laptop with a boot menu, and from this boot menu you could boot AmiKit, you could boot regular Amiga OS 3, Amiga OS 4, Windows, and Linux. You know, so it was like a dream machine. But also, given that all those systems were installed, it was really hard to set it up and hard to maintain it, you know, because if something goes wrong, suddenly you deal with a really complex system, which it's hard to troubleshoot, you know.
But I just wanted to make sure, because I want Trevor to get, because Trevor supported so many things. And
it was a really great idea, and I appreciate that Trevor tried it.
Yeah, he hasn't paid me to say that, by the way, just so anyone asks.
Okay.
Right, okay, he hasn't paid me. But the reason I mention is because the A1222, which, yes, it is late, we know it's late. People are moaning like hell, and it annoys me, because if they knew how complex it is to get a production of a motherboard, especially something like this, which is changing, chips disappear, and now having an absolute nightmare, I think people just leave them alone. When it comes out, it comes out. Okay, I mean the badge is still on the box. It's going on the new box. Hopefully it'll come out. So that's why I want Trev to get some, because he's been fantastic. I think he's kind of gone a bit quiet now, but he's been absolutely fantastic. Right. So
but producing motherboard, I cannot even imagine how difficult it can be and what pitfalls there on the way.
Getting the chips.
Yeah.
Just getting PowerPC chips and stuff like that, and then having people, as you get delayed, the support chips you can't get, and you have to change. And if you change your support chips, it kills all your drivers. That's the kind of problems they're having. So, I do feel for him. And I mean, the two previous products he did, the X1000, 5000, I've always said, and I even told him before the 1000 came out, it is a bit expensive, but they are fantastic products if you forget the price. So I just love what he's done. So anyway, that's true. We've done that.
Can I have a question?
Yeah, fire away. Yeah.
What do you do outside Amiga world? What is your day job? You still laying the bricks? No.
No, I gave that up. I actually okay. So I was a bricklayer. I did my apprenticeship. And then the funny thing was that I worked for this little company, and then one of the partners was having an affair with the other partner's wife. So you can imagine how long that business lasted.
Wow.
So I ended up. Then I went off, and I ended up working with my dad. Long story short, did that for a year. And fathers and sons working together, no, it doesn't work. So dad went back to his old job. And then I was a roofer for about 12 years, and I love roofing. I always have done. But I did my knees in. And then it just so happened at that time Amiga came out, and I met some guys. It's all in David's book. Go and buy David's book. But I met some guys, and then I met James Campbell, and we set up Checkmate. We did the Checkmate 1500, and I've been ever since then. So, having said that, in about the year 2000, something like that, everything was going pear-shaped for me and everyone. The gateway was all going pear-shaped. And I remember, some people remember Tony Ianieri, who was the boss of Power Computing. And I went to see him one day, and he sat me down, and he did that the Mafia Don thing, okay? He sat me down and he said, "Go and get a proper job, you idiot." So I went and got a proper job. And that job was I write boring computer software, so it's internet stuff. Because I jumped straight into an internet development job because to me it was easy and no one else knew what to do with it. So I didn't make a fortune, unfortunately. But yeah, so I did that, and then but now it's become in 2008 I got into AROS and I supported that for a few years, and now the case is the only reason the case was that David Pleasance was going to do a book about the Commodore, and I said, well, you are going to tell the true story about the Amiga 1500? And he said, what do you mean? And I explained, and he went, you sure? So he phoned up Kieran in the States, and Kieran's come, and so David put my story in the book. So if you look at David's, if you get David's book, there's a chapter on me and my history in there as well. So that was very kind of it. I expected a line, but he gave me a whole chapter.
Nice.
And then I thought, the funny thing was, then I thought, do you know what? When he releases his book, because my brain was going, business. When he releases his book, Checkmate name will come back up again. And I thought I could do a case. So I designed this case, and I did it on Facebook, and I shared everything with people. But my Kickstarter started before his book was released, and it was finished before his book was released. And so thankfully it was a success, and now we're doing a new one.
Yeah. I was watching this first Kickstarter of yours. It was amazing, yes, what I wanted to tell you, that I admire you for this live streaming or all the videos you do, because I'm super shy. I couldn't do that. And actually, this is my first live stream ever, I think, so I really, really appreciate what you do there.
Okay, right. Now, I'll tell you the truth. Now, this is even funnier then. I am naturally very shy. And even from the very beginning when I was doing the Amigas, I am naturally very shy. If I'm out, I always tell my kids this story, and I tell people, if I do a show, I kind of switch into extrovert. As soon as I get off the stand and stop talking to people, if you ever watch me and I'm at a show, right, this is the secret. If no one comes up to me to talk to me, and I just walk around, I'm very shy, and I'm a bit nervous to talk to people. And yet on the camera, right, it's a different person. It's not, I can't explain it. You're a psychologist.
So this is how it works, actually. Like, you're introvert, and actually when you do a video, there is nobody around you, so you can be still you.
It's only me and the camera.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so that is the truth. I am actually quite shy. So when it came, that was why I was rubbish at meeting women, because I had no chance, because I thought I'd get a motorbike and I'd have the excuse to talk to them. And here we go. Look. Let me put this back to. I'm going to put this back to chat so we can. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to switch this over. Okay, there we go. Right, that's going to switch over. We're back onto to chat now. Actually, I better switch my camera on. There we go. There you go. So no, yeah, I'm naturally a bit shy. So. People don't believe it. No one believes it. But I am. I am actually quite shy. Unless I'm in show mode, Amiga mode, whatever you want to call it. I am quite loud. But there's some people say overcompensating. I don't know. You should know. You're a psychologist, for crying out loud. I'm sure they'll lock me up one day. Oh, on the story in the dancing, of course, the one thing I've always loved is to dance. But when I was a kid, I would only dance indoors. I wouldn't go to the school discos. I was too nervous. But I love dancing, and I love rock and roll. I've always loved rock and roll since a kid. And I danced in my house to rock and roll. I wouldn't do it outside with anyone. I was too nervous. And then a few years ago, someone said to me about going... Well, when I married my first wife, I danced more with my wife. And then I had lessons. I said, I don't want lessons, it'll change it. And I went to learn jive lessons, and I did that for a few years. And then, of course, I met my wife, my new wife, through dancing. So that's... The dancing was... You didn't need... if I'd known that all those years ago...
So you met your new wife through dancing?
Yeah, well, she came along, and because I'd been doing it for about 3 years, so I was the one where I just danced with all the ladies, and I had a nice relationship at the time. It was just that rock and roll is very much, it's not considered bad to go and ask someone's partner to dance, we all do it. You know, everyone's happy because everyone likes. But if you go ballroom, it's people don't like sharing their partners. I mean, I understand that, but rock and roll's different. It's probably some of the Latin stuff is the same. Depends what dance style you go to. You can't just go up and say, "Can I dance with your wife?" But one thing I will say is the rock and roll thing works. If you ever go and try that in a teddy boy club, no, don't do that, because we all know the rule. Okay, and I always do this. I go and I ask the guy and I say very politely, "Would you mind if I dance with your partner?" 90% of the time they say yes. Every now and then they say outside boy, but most of the time they say yes. But yeah, it's just I always ask anyway.
Nice. I'm also introvert, and you wanna know where I met my wife?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
On Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We met on Facebook. It was like 2012, 10, 11, something like that. And for the first few years, we were just writing to each other.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and then after a few years we met because I traveled and I was able to meet her, and then somehow I'm married now.
Well, I will say that both you and me, we're playing well above our league because my wife is way too good for me. And most of my friends say, most of my friends say to me, "Mate, you really? How did you manage that?"
So
dancing.
Yeah. And by the way, that's the reason why I moved to Serbia, because she's Serbian.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense then, yeah.
Yeah, and because people used to ask me like, why you moved to Serbia? And I was like, okay, there are only two reasons for men to move somewhere, you know, and it was not about money.
My brother did the same thing with a Swedish girl.
Yeah.
Met in Greece, went back to Sweden. Anyway, that's another story. But so how are we doing? How are we? I suppose I ought to have a look for these questions.
Okay.
Did I thank Dimitri? I think I mentioned Dimitri, haven't I? But I will say publicly on record, thank you, Dimitri. That stuff you've done is amazing. All right, absolutely amazing. Right, I'm going. As they say, talking about myself. There is so much chat going. I'm just going to flick down, look for questions. Okay. Well, here's question. Is this a downloadable plug-and-play version for Pi4 Tinker? Okay, Jan's asking first question, is this a downloadable plug-and-play version for Pi4 or Pi400?
Exactly, that's what I'm aiming for.
The actual, hang on, sorry, just to be clear, the question was also for people who already own the ROMs.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing if you've got a fully licensed Amiga OS and it's supported the way you were doing it, then the answer is yes. But you're going to carry on.
Like I'm aiming for like full, not full package. Like you still need Amiga OS and ROM, of course, but it will be downloadable version, plug and play. It's like it will be an image actually, which goes straight to your SD card.
Right.
And the first time you boot it, you just need a USB stick where is your Amiga OS image, and like I said before, you just copy this one file to AmiKit, and it will do the rest.
Yep.
So, and since then it's totally independent, bootable, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the other thing is, of course, if people buy, I still haven't. Do you know what? I've had these kits ready for about 8 weeks. The frames, this board, I've got hundreds of these. I've got about 100 of these, and I've got all my licenses. As you know, I've got all my licenses sitting on the shelf. At some point I'll do it, and then I will do a micro SD card completely configured with the latest version that will literally just plug in and turn it on. And that's going to be an option for some people. Also, because of the way I wrote my website, my software powers it, and one of the things it's got is very secure areas. So if you do have a BIOS system and and you bought the licenses, I have to get this approved, but I'm confident about this. But if you bought a full license pack from me and you say you bugger up your system, the image I'll put available in a very quiet, a secure area that only you can get to on a link, and like a quick one-time link. So you'll be able to redo that image. But again, I've got to get that approved by Jan and Tim from Hyperion and Chloe. So I'm sure it'll be fine, because my software is pretty industrial. Let's put it that way, because that's what I do for a living. So I think and that's the easy way for people, because, and the other thing was, I bought a load of licenses, but when you buy the licenses, you'll find I'm not making any profit on them. I'm not adding anything to the cost, literally, because I wanted to keep the software. I didn't want to make money on the software, because I'm making it on hardware. So you'll find the prices. Oh, that's cheap for the DVD. But yes, it's what the price I pay plus like 5%. I think it's going to be a little handling charge. But it's so as cheap as I can possibly make that software, so people can get the official license. A license you get. I love those little little things you did for me with the serial numbers. Because I asked, I won't mention Hyperion. They just sent me a bunch of numbers, but Jan sent me these lovely little thank you for buying it with AmiKit logo on it, and it's really nice, and they'll go in the pack. So that's really nice.
That's the part of the design,
Yeah.
So it has to be, everything has to be nice.
Yeah,
and I like that way.
I agree. I mean, this is why with the first case, I mean, I wouldn't have done, if all we'd sold was the original cases, I couldn't have afforded to. But because of the extras went sky high, which unfortunately this new case doesn't have many extras apart from motherboards. But we went sky high, so I took a chunk of that money and spent thousands on that box, because it's all about the experience, isn't it? People want a nice experience, and we've already done that. I hope that, because I've spent 5-6 grand on getting the packaging and design and everything for this new box. So I've really invested in it, and I think it's the experience. You open a box and you get that feel.
Yeah. Also design is part of the product, of course.
Yeah.
And,
which is why I picked yours.
And that's why I want to make the AmiKit install experience very smooth. Before you ask about the pitfalls
Yes.
on the way to AmiKit, and one of the pitfalls I can think of was that actually, imagine that you set up the whole system for yourself, the whole AmiKit. It works. It works perfectly for you, and now how are you gonna make it work for other people? If you have to, because you know that you have to exclude the Amiga operating system itself. So it's like you create a person, and he breathes, he lives, but you have to put his heart away, and let people to put their heart on it, like Golem, this creature.
Yeah, Golem. Golem.
So this ball, they have to deliver it there. So the pitfall was that actually I had to create a really robust install system, and not supporting only one system, but all systems out there, like Amiga OS 3.1, 3.14, 3.9, 3.5, everything. And this is quite difficult, but it's part of the AmiKit. It's part of the magic, actually.
Yeah, someone's actually asked a question about, do you also theme Linux so it looks like Amiga programs? Yes, to a degree, a little bit, but the main thing is with the backdrop. When you change it in, it will switch the backdrop to match the Amiga. I think I'm correct in saying, is that right? We hide the main bar at the bottom. It pops up if you bring your cursor. It comes up. It's not. There are certain little touches, and it looks better than the standard one, and it does look better, and it fits. It does actually fit. So, but the idea is, to me, it's not to use.
On Ellie's computer, we try to do that, and we were successful in it. Like the Amiga Windows and Linux Windows, they use the same graphics, and it looked amazing. But with Raspberry Pi 4 and Manjaro Linux, I didn't went so far. but the default theme of AmiKit will be the dark one, and the Linux Manjaro Linux is also a dark
Yes. Yeah.
dark desktop. So it kind of match, and yeah, this wallpaper you mentioned. When you change a wallpaper in AmiKit, it will automatically change the wallpaper in Linux. So the same one, so they are in sync. So at least this kind of design things.
Someone's asked a question. I think it's a simple one. Someone's asked a question: do you use AmiKit with AmiBerry, which we use in AmiBerry because it's Dimitri's? So that, on the Raspberry Pi, that is obviously. There's another one.
I use AmiKit with AmiBerry for last couple of months, actually.
Okay, so here's an interesting question, and there's, I'm sure we can talk forever on this one, but Joe's come up with which Amiga ROM will be best to use: Cliento's Amiga Forever 3X or Hyperion's 3.1.4.1.9.8.7. I added those last two ones on.
That's the point. You have to use the ROM with, that matches your Amiga OS. So AmiKit also supports Amiga OS 3.1.4. So if you have Amiga OS 3.1.4, you just deliver the zip archive to AmiKit, and it will extract the ROM from there. Yep. So it works like this. And also, if you start to mix ROMs and OS, AmiKit will complain about it. So you cannot use Amiga OS 3.1.4 with all the Amiga OS 3.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you know.
Yeah. I did notice. I think on I've got one set up where there's, when you're changing screen resolutions, you've got the test first. This one hasn't got that, so some have that, some don't. That's actually quite nice. But I mean, I don't. They're both pretty damn. I think they're both pretty damn good. I mean, I'm still agonising. Do I include? I will include Amiga Forever with everything because it's got all the licenses, and I will be including that one. But it's whether I include the 3.1.4 as well, or just do it as a very cheap upgrade for people who want it to install there. So we'll see. I've got 90 licenses of all of them, so I've got it. I'm still working on the pricings at the moment. So, but that will come out soon.
Maybe one thing, because I now remember I announced that AmiKit XE or XE for Raspberry Pi will be available this year. So probably not.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Probably not. Because I'm still working on it, and I don't want to release a product which I'm personally not satisfied enough with. So, but I'm pretty close. So I believe early 21, and early means like January, February, March maximum. You know, but I really want to polish it before I release it. So I want to make it smooth. And
no.
I still need some time.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, just release it when you're happy with it. Because if you're not happy with it, no, customers are not. They're not going to be happy with it. So
Look at the Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
I was.
Did they actually test
it?
Did they actually test it? I read something about a PlayStation 4 is not working properly.
It's like I don't have the game, but what I saw, what I read, like on PlayStation, it's completely different game actually, and much worse than the PC version. So no, I don't want to do that. And so yeah, when I'm satisfied, I'm gonna release, and it's not gonna be this year, sadly, but really early 21.
When it's ready. Someone's asked Jonathan's asked the question: will the AmiHybrid run on the Mista? And the answer, Mystics. He's calling it Mixter. The answer is no. We're looking into what we can do, but it's the FPGAs are in no way powerful enough to run this full-blown system. So the answer is no. If you want that, you need the Pi. I mean, I tried to explain it. The FPGA, the two FPGA boards, I mean, are wonderful. I mean, I've got them behind me too. I love them, absolutely love them. But the Amiga is like 11 MIPS. The Mystics is going to be 14 MIPS, and the Pi is 1,000. So figure it out yourself. You know, it's not can't do everything, but you can get a good experience. But the answer on that is no. But we'll right. So let's see if we got any more. Oh, someone's saying I so wanted Alice. Yeah, so did I. I almost begged Trevor to get that thing out in the market because you've done such a. Ken Lester did all the icons, doesn't he? In some that he worked with you, I think, didn't he? Ken Lester. Is it Ken Lester?
Ken Lester, actually, he did all the icons in AmiKit, and they are beautiful.
They are. He's just done a wonderful job.
It's his set, and it's dual PNG.
Yeah.
So, and dual PNG icons, they are also quite slow on slower systems. So that's why we need fast system if we want to look to have it nice.
Yeah. Someone's asked they're going to nick the name Mixter. I hate to say it, but that's not the name of the product I'm doing. It's Mystics. But so you can nick the Mixter. Right, how are we going on here? It's the comments about the A1222. Obviously, people are a bit fed up waiting, but you have to get over it. Well, unless you put any money on it, that's a different story. I don't know about that. Right, okay. The Pi4 you speak of, is there a link? Okay, so this is just for me. Someone's asked, is there a link they can go to purchase the Pi kit? Sorry, as you see, it's all finished, and I've got a cupboard full of the damn stuff. Just haven't had time to put it on the shop. I will do that, and I am sorry. I have been very late. Let's see questions. Oh, sometimes this thing jumps too quick. Oh, have I missed one? There was a question here. Question for Jan. Okay. Right. One from George Sokianos. Question for Jan. Is it Jan or Jan? It's Jan, isn't it?
It's Jan.
Silent Jan. I thought so. Sorry. Yeah. I think I've been saying Jan, but occasionally I put Jan in there, which is like my aunt's name. So I made that one up. Actually, it's not.
But you know what? When my name is Jan, and when I lived in Czech Republic, they don't use Jan. They use Honza. It's completely different name, which they use as an equivalent for Honza. It's because of the German Hans.
Right. So okay.
You know.
Yeah.
When I arrived to Czech Republic for the first time, and people start calling me Honza, I simply didn't react because I was like, they're not calling me. It's not my name. But then I got used to it. So I can use to Jen as well, though. Okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Right, so George has asked the question, I'll just read this out. The icons of the desktop are really awesome, but they are not the same with the rest. I know that those were designed by Ken Lester. Do you plan to extend those icons?
Which icons?
I have a feeling because did Ken do the big icons as well?
Which one?
Did Ken do the big icons for like the drive and the drives and all that?
Yeah. These drive icons, they're quite they're a bit bigger. I think they are 64 pixels.
Yeah.
While the rest in AmiKit it's 48.
Yeah, because I think what he was saying is I'm not 100% sure what he's saying, but he was basically are you going to be? Well, he's saying extend, but I think Ken's icon pack was huge. I think it covered everything you're ever going to need. And I don't know whether you want the rest of the icons that massive size because there's no room for them. But right, so let's see what else have we got here because I'm just looking down for the ones with the word question in it. Will we be able to? Someone saying Lee Johnson will be able to buy just the SD image. Right, you will be able to buy that if you've bought the full Amiga Forever pack. The license pack, okay? I'm not going to supply any SD cards to anybody that I haven't supplied the OS. I'm not doing that at all. You can build it yourself. I even give instructions how you build this. It's very straightforward. It's not complicated, and you can get all the bits and build it yourself. But for legal reasons, I can't go down that road. Which is another reason why, for example, I mean, I also like some of the other distributions and for example, that I've forgotten Coffin OS. That's a nice little OS, but I couldn't ship it. I just can't. So I can only do things that are completely above board, and I cannot send you out an SD image unless you're buying the entire pack. Now, if I'm doing that, part of the thing will be I'll include an SD card anyway, and once you've bought that, you'll be able to, if you break it or anything like that, you'll be able to download the image and rebuild it. There goes my camera again. Bear with me a second. So you should still be able to hear me, and it'll come back up again in a second. Assuming the battery hasn't just died. That'll be the battery then. Do you know what? It is actually quite frustrating that. So I will come back on again. Don't worry. I bought one of these packs that powers the camera from the mains, and it doesn't work. So I keep having to use my battery, and it only lasts about an hour. Here we go. Sorry about that. Right, let's have a look now. Let's turn that way a little bit. Right, let's see what else have we got. Well, what about the SD image? Yeah, low battery. Oh, was it showing up low battery already? Oh, okay, that explains it. So I missed that. The last comment on here is saying your low battery warning's up. That's why it died. Right, so okay, let's. There isn't actually any more questions on this, so I assume we've kind of covered it. What's your plans for the future then, as far as AmiKit's concerned?
Frankly, I have no idea, because now I'm fully devoted to this Raspberry Pi port. And
Good idea.
Once this is done, then I need a break for sure. So I want, which I don't get actually, because when I release it, people start to hit the forums and ask questions, and they will find more bugs, of course. So this is natural. But then I need a vacation, and then I get back to AmiKit again. So the next steps would be to release updates actually. Because this AmiKit environment, it includes live update program, which updates it automatically. So I'll be creating these live updates, which will include new features, bugs, and that's it for now.
Okay.
And well, there is real Amiga 1200 sitting on my table, and it's still waiting for its turn. So perhaps I don't know it, but yeah, let's see.
Right. So interestingly, on the Raspberry Pi, I've been emailing back and forwards, well, over many years actually, for Eben, who runs the Pi Foundation, and he's a big Amiga fan. So I honestly think that if we can get the pack with the licenses and we can get something together for him, I think they'd be happy to promote it to the Pi community, because it is the most. We are lucky we have a number of distributions, but out of all of them, the most. I know I'm blowing sunshine again, but the most professional is AmiKit. It is definitely the most professional, and it's a nice one that you can just get up and running. So I think there will be a section of the Pi community that will love it, and so that's something that I'll be discussing in not too distant future. In fact, hopefully. Eben has said that their team has already been in touch. They're going to do a little bit of marketing on the website about basically about this mini ITX adapter kit, because I think it's a great thing for the Pi anyway, to be able to just drop that in any case and run it. So he's going to do that, and also talk about the AmiHybrid. Now, with the new version of this Raspberry Pi AmiKit, are you still calling it XC, or are you going to give it a different name?
XC.
So it's going to stay the same name. That's fine.
In my language, XA. I call it XA.
Okay, yeah. No, my point was, you're going to keep the same name for the Pi version. It's going to be the same.
Yeah. Same, because actually it's the same version, a little bit updated, but it's almost the same, but heavily fine-tuned for Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned this Raspberry Pi Foundation. That they could promote AmiHybrid or AmiKit or Amiga in general. I was thinking, like, are there any new people being involved with Amiga who never had Amiga before, or we just targeting old Amiga users which already knows what Amiga is all about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I can tell you this. This is. I've got no science to back this up. None at all. Okay. But all us original Amiga, especially me, we're getting old, and sooner or later we're going to kick the bucket. Having said that, the Amiga is got a cult status. It's kind of spoken in kind of weird terms, and I see young people using it. I've had people come to the shows to see me, and come to the user groups. Never had one in the past. Fascinated by it. This is one of the reasons why in the package I'm including Amos, and you can boot straight into Amos, because I wanted to be able to program instantly. And a lot of people just appreciate the I don't want to say simplicity, because it's not like a Commodore 64, which is I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but the Amiga is kind of the first one that had like libraries, and in fact it had everything, multitasking, the whole thing. It started everything. But I think there's a fascination with it because of its cult status, and people. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of them say to me, even young ones that are too young to have had an Amiga, come afterwards, that actually it has got this cult status, and I think if we play on that, I do think that it can be one of those computers that after you've finished working on your boring nondescript Windows machine. Or your Linux desktop, or your Mac or whatever. You go home and you play on, it's only for people who love computers for the sake of it. You go back and you play on this machine like these FPGA boards, like the Pi, like the X1000, so on. That just is interesting to you because it's not as powerful as the modern stuff. It can't do the stuff the modern stuff does. But it's eking that performance out of it, and I think there's a bit of a fascination there. As we get more advanced, there's something nice about old computers and how they worked. So,
A funny thing about AmiKit is that it doesn't look old.
No, not at all.
It doesn't look retro, and it never meant to be.
No,
to look like that actually.
No, absolutely right. I mean, when you run a lot of this, I mean, you can tell it's kind of a halfway house where it's got lots of modern features, but we all know it's 68,000 based. But you've got this. There's enough modern features and enough modern things in it to keep you interested. This is one of the reasons I did the hybrid, because if you've got a machine, for example, say the Pi goes to the next generation and it's double the performance again. I know it's always that double, but I do think if you double the performance and you take out some of that YouTube delays, little bits like that, so that it's snappy, the browser is snappy, then you'll have a little machine that actually people can just have for fun. What I do is I've got a Mac Pro sits here, and it's a great big beast of a machine. I'm doing all this on, but when I finish, I turn it off and I go and play on these little FPGA ones, and I like the old computers, and I love they're a lot of fun, and a lot of people are enjoying that. So, and the Pi Foundation is made of people who actually quite like the Amiga and impressed, and that's why do people think this thing exists? Yeah, that's because the head of the Pi, they wanted to make it their Amiga, that is their Raspberry Pi A500, or 600, whatever you want to call it. It's their little Amiga.
It feels like Amiga 500, like when you insert SD card there, it's like inserting a mini floppy disk there, I like it about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the other thing, of course, with the new AmiKit, you pop that into here. I mean, look, I tell everyone, you don't have to buy my case. My case, everyone knows it's a little bit, for a case, it's a little bit expensive. Small production, high cost. That's just the way it is. But when you've got little products, I try to get everyone on these little things, because especially since this came out, it costs so little, and you can run it. I tell you what, to run this AmiHybrid, AmiKit, whatever you want to call it, on here will be probably the best Amiga experience you will ever have for very little money. Okay?
Exactly, I can confirm that. Because I had a Raspberry 4, I have Raspberry 4 Pi4, and I was like, no, I don't need a new P400. Why? I already have P4. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
But at the end, I couldn't resist. I bought it, and I was amazed because it reminds me of Amiga, and it's like little miracle there on your table. I really like it.
And this, let me get my fingers. This here on the edge. What a game changer! Because I'll give you an example. I've sent a couple of things off to Dimitri. Yeah, I'm not going to say what they are because people start talking about it. But it would plug into here, and there'll be lots of little products that go into here in the GPIO pins, which I think, to be honest, is absolutely going to be fantastic for people making products for this. I think this is absolute game changer. And that's why I want the Amiga on it. That's the whole thing about Amiga Hybrid. I didn't know about this, obviously, but the Pi4 for me was like, no, we've got to get it on there. But when this came out, no, we've got to do it quick, because this really is. I mean, you get this thing on there. I think that I think the Pi Foundation is going to quite like what you and Dimitri have created. Right. Okay. So. Let's have a quick look at questions, and then I think we'll probably, because one thing I said to Jan is when this video is finished, I've got to turn off all the computers. I've got to go up the office, and I've got to build about 3 or 4 more cases because they're being collected tomorrow. A couple of people put orders in late, and that's the last shipment of cases. It's too late now. It's the last shipment of cases before Christmas, so I've got to go up there. So I'm quite happy to. And this, I'm just going to check down the list. What we got here? Is there any way I can port my version? Oh, here's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not be a good question, but is there a way I can port my version of Amiga Unix on AmiKit? Now, don't take that as I'm not saying you should do this. More to the point, I've always wanted to be able to run Amiga Unix because I've never seen it. I'd love to see it. I would really like to see that. So
I have no idea what is it about, actually.
Yeah, well, the Amiga Unix. I assume you're aware of the Amiga Unix machine back in history. No. Oh, wow. Okay, a little story for the history.
Okay.
I'll sit down comfortably, and Danny's going to tell you a story. Right. This is I Hate Mediali one, right? So the story goes, okay, and I may get it ever so slightly wrong, but it's basically true, that Sun Microsystems, Commodore had ported Unix System 4, I think it was, to the Amiga. Now the Amiga 3000 at the time, in fact it was on the 2000 as well, but the Amiga 3000 was pretty much workstation class. It was fantastic. That's why I love it. But it was good enough to run Unix, no problem whatsoever. And I believe it was Sun Microsystems wanted to do a deal with Commodore to do a low-end system that they could brand with the Amiga 3000 to sell into universities cheap, because their Sun systems were very, very expensive. And there was a discussion going on about that. And Mediali apparently turned around and he was just saying, I want stupid license fees. I don't know what they were. All I know is they were stupid license fees. And he killed it. He killed the project stone dead. So we could have had...
Which was, actually?
Sorry?
Which year?
Oh, you're asking a good question. Around 1990-ish? 91? Yeah, so it was around the time of the 3000. But because the 3000 was so powerful, I mean, for the time, it was so powerful. You put a graphics card in it, and it is workstation class. It was absolutely workstation class. So you could have run Unix, no problem whatsoever, because it had everything it needed. It had a 6830, lots of RAM, had an MMU, which was needed. You could have had Amiga Unix. Now, if that happened,
nice.
We could have gone down a slightly different path of having, whilst, I mean, everyone knows I love the Amiga operating system. The one problem it does have is it doesn't have memory protection, which means if you get an error program multitasking, it will bring the whole system down. Whereas Unix has memory protection. We could have actually moved that way. But he said no, and he blew it. And of course, he ended up wiping the company out. But that's an interesting point about Unix. And I wouldn't mind actually, I'd love to be able to run that as a core on one of these FPGAs. But yeah, that's an interesting question. So obviously, if you didn't know about it, then it's not much you can say about it.
In 1990, I was 10 years old, so in my
You must have known about it. How come you didn't know about it then?
I was busy with something else probably at the time.
I was a bit older.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so someone's saying you can run Amiga Unix on WinUAE anyway, so okay, fair enough. And they could build for the next. Okay, right. So, all right. I think that's pretty much. I think we've pretty much covered most things. Unless there's anything you wanted to say at the end before we go.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one. Not in lockdown. Are you in lockdown there?
Actually, at the moment, I don't know. It's always like there is lockdown, there is not. There, like everywhere.
Yeah.
And but funny thing about Serbia is that they have a Christmas on 7th January, and the New Year on 14th January.
Oh,
because
okay.
So if there is no COVID situation, I usually celebrate Christmas twice. I go to Slovakia on 24 December and I celebrate with my family. Then I come back on 7 I celebrate Christmas again. So, but unfortunately in Serbia they don't have this habit of giving gifts. So I could get gifts twice, but no.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, we was promised that, and I don't blame. But I mean, I'm not. This is going to sound political. I don't mean to be, but our Prime Minister basically said we can have Christmas, and unfortunately, he's had to change his mind. So we're all going lockdown. We can't see families over Christmas. I'm not going to moan about that because that's just science.
But wait a second, I read some interesting news that it was some British guy who set up a company and he employed all his family there. So on Christmas, they're not going to have a family Christmas dinner, but they're going to have family business meeting.
But business, do you know what? You give me an idea. Because my daughter's partner, he works part-time for me, so technically he can come. Because he works. Yeah. So I'd have to give my son a job, I think, and then maybe we could work something there. No, they're employees. Look, I've got them a PAYE. That's a good one. I like that one. All right. Well, look. Thanks very much for coming on. Anyway, and it's been great fun. And as
thank you for the patience, Steve. Thank you.
Oh no, it's wonderful. So everyone out there, just AmiKit. I love AmiKit. I mean, what can I say? And you're going to see an awful lot of it. You're going to see videos coming up soon of me using the new version. I'm going to go into more details about the FPGA machines and the Pi ones with all the prices as well. So before the end of the Kickstarter, I will be releasing all the prices of the upgrade kits. So if you're holding off, interestingly, I'm just going to have a quick look and see. It's nearly 46,000. So we're not far off. So we've got about another. It's literally I've got about £4,000 to go to the target, which is pretty cool. So thanks to everyone who's backed it. But I've got another 3 weeks.
How many days to go?
Pardon?
How many days to go?
19.
So it's more than half. Right?
It's done this in 12 days.
Nice.
So.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but I'm hoping it'll reach the stretch goal, which is 75,000, because it's going to unlock certain things I want to do, which is why I've got it in there. And also I didn't realise this, but it's marked as a project we love by Kickstarter, which I didn't know, which is quite nice. That's quite. They weren't interested in the last one. Anyway, thanks for coming on. I hope everyone enjoyed this just chat and being able to listen in on us two. Talking about, I was going to say 2 old war horses, but you're only about 30 odd. So you're not exactly old, are you? Anyway, I'm going to go up the office and I'm going to go and build some of these cases and pack them up and put some process there.
No.
Well, luckily there's only 3 cases to build, and then so I'll be there till about 2 in the morning. But I'll get that done, and then.
So it's like 2 hours for one case or something?
No. It's about half hour for each case to make. So I'll probably get there about 10. So I'll probably build cases by about 12. It's about an hour and a bit to do all the paperwork and to book all the shipments through and that kind of thing. So 1:30, 2 o'clock I'll be finished.
Do they arrive before Christmas or?
The UK ones will.
It doesn't matter anymore. There is no Christmas.
Yeah, well, there is no Christmas. Yeah, but there's even more reason to get it. The UK ones, because they're all being collected tomorrow. So the UK ones should be there on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, which is my birthday. If anyone wants to say happy birthday, but yeah, it was great, isn't it? Because my birthday's the 23rd of December, so everyone says, "I bought you a joint present." Great, thanks. But the European ones maybe arrive. The American ones probably. Well, I don't know. The American ones might just arrive just as quick anyway. So there is a chance they may arrive, but the UK ones should all be there, which I think is the bulk of them. To be fair, I've only got about 13 cases to go out. So. And then I'm completely up to date again because I had a problem with the lids. I had to send our lids back and they had to respray them, and then they checked them, they weren't happy, and so I'm really fussy about the lids, especially the black lids. So that's what the delay was. But I'll get them all out. They should be there. So a lot of them will be there by Christmas, but some maybe just after. But to be fair, most of those cases actually only ordered about 3 or 4 days ago. So to be, I'm doing quite. Wait, look at that! You got your AmiKit. Yeah, you might.
I forgot about my background.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, because now
so here it is.
Yeah, now the problem is because my things that you want to turn the camera just a little bit, so you go a little bit to the left. Well, they can see it says AmiKit. No, I'll tell you what. Now, hang on a second. Let's do this properly. Let's make this appear so we can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this live while people are watching this. I'm just going to transform this so people can see the whole website. If you want to... Oh, that's not it, is it? Hang on. Window capture. Yeah, that's the right one. That's not it. Isn't it funny when you want to do this, you can't actually do it. Right, hang on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the left, put that to 0, put that... They won't be seeing this, but you should see this very soon, and I'm going to scroll that across. You should well, actually no, it's not got it all in. Even though I've opened it right up, it still hasn't got it all in. Anyway, yeah. So I'll tell you what I can do. Just while we're there, hang on. I can switch me over to this, and then I can transition back over to the AmiKit. And I can put the about screen up. Hang on. Right, it's going to last a few seconds. Get ready. Here it comes. So the AmiKit, oh, that's gone again now. I think I said to you it's up too long, didn't I? I think you reduced the length of time, and so now it's not helping you because it's disappearing too quick. Let's put it up again. There you go. AmiKit, and it's AmiKit.amiga.sk.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, anyway, thanks a lot. I do appreciate that, and no doubt we're going to be talking during the week anyway because about bits and pieces. So thanks everyone for joining. Someone said happy birthday. Have a beer. Thanks so much for taking part, Jan, and I do like your cat. You've got lovely cats, and yeah, we'll talk again soon. But anyway, so as far as everyone else is concerned, I'm going to be cutting this thing. I'm going to end with my little video ident. Going to go out on that. So thanks very much, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.